Hey, welcome to episode 168 of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. I'm your host, Amy.
And I'm your co-host, Dana.
And we are recording this episode live.
Live and broadcasting in amazing Technicolor or,
Amazing Technicolor?
well, color video.
Wow.
We're working on it.
I
Here,
don't
hold on. I
know.
got to adjust this camera here.
Yeah. So if you're listening back on the podcast feed, we will be descriptive. We'll be as descriptive as possible if we are showing off anything on the camera. And we,
Oh, I don't plan on showing off anything.
I don't think there's anything we really show off that we need to this episode. But then
No.
we will make sure that we read the comments and talk about what's going on in the chat, because we have several people who have jumped on board and are joining us for this live recording of episode 168.
Yeah, already. We've already got some people in the chat on both Facebook and on YouTube. We've got Josh and Katie and Rhonda Lee and
Josh
Rob
and Katie.
Nadal.
Rob.
So
Oh, you
fantastic.
guys.
And the audio was good this time. So
Yeah, and the audio is good.
I
Thank
did
you,
double check
Josh.
that. Yes, thank
Thank
you
you,
so much.
Josh.
So yeah.
Really.
And yes, and Rob is commenting in the chat. He says that Dana's back from a run looking fresh. Don't let it fool you, Rob. I just changed shirts. I didn't even jump in the shower yet.
You look fresh.
Oh, why thank you.
Yeah, you
I did
do.
what I
He's
can.
right. He's
Fortunately,
right.
it's not smell-o-vision.
Oh my God. You don't smell. I came right in from work and sat down, and here we are.
Pretty
So,
much.
I probably look pretty scary
No.
right here on the
please.
camera. So it's probably good if you are listening to this on the podcast feed.
No. Not possible. But we are
I'm not looking fresh, Rob. like Dana.
I don't know. You are definitely the beauty to my beast. So.
Oh, you're so nice.
So
Fermented.
hashtag fermented.
That's-
Yeah, thanks, Josh.
That's me.
That's
you.
me.
That's you.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, tonight's episode is going to be completely off the rails.
I don't think it's completely off the rails.
No, I mean, we are going to talk about running, a little bit of eating, a little bit of drinking, but we are actually using tonight's episode as a bit of a launch, a kickoff, kind of a reset, or a maybe a course correction, as I've been thinking about it.
Oh, you've been thinking about this all day.
I've been very in my head, very much thinking about all of this. And
I really had no chance there. John Schroeder,
patron of the show, has joined us in the chat on Facebook.
Oh,
Hello,
we have
John.
several patrons in this
We
chat.
We do.
Look
indeed.
at them all.
You guys rock. But yeah, so I've been thinking about this a lot today. Like, I've actually been like pondering this, because we're embarking on something.
We are.
And we're going to be sharing that with everybody
And let me
in a
just
few minutes.
tell you. Well, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's it.
But we're putting it out here in the world. And usually when I start something like this, like we're going to talk about tonight, I don't like to tell anyone.
I know.
I know you know, because this man knows me so well.
But what we have learned over the last 4 years of doing the podcast, I think, is that having our friends in the Runcation Nation there to support and encourage and help is a tremendous asset.
Yes.
And having each other as accountability buddies,
yes,
is a tremendous asset. So
this guy's an asset.
Or just an ass.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, I couldn't live life without you.
Oh,
yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah.
That's true. You know, that's true.
Aw.
So before we get into what we're talking about, we're really drawing out the tease.
When are we going to do shout outs?
Well, you're in charge of this show, so we're going to do it whenever you say we're going to do it.
Okay, if there's anybody in the live chat that has a shout out that we need to celebrate a member of the Runcation Nation for accomplishing a goal or finishing a race or a particularly tough training run, put it in the chat, because the only one that I can remember from this week, I know there are more. Oh, um, I believe Andy Davison did a 5K for a charity. That's one that I want to shout out. And then also uh Greg in Orlando.
Yes.
And the initial celebratory post on Instagram I have to apologize for, because I put 50K and I meant 50 miles.
She meant 50 miler. She meant 50 miler. She shorted him a few miles in saying 50K.
Like the emoji,
The one where you face palm.
You do the face palm. This
Yeah.
is me.
Yeah, that was her.
So, Greg in Orlando, I am so sorry. Congratulations on your 50-mile race. You are a beast. I hope you enjoyed those vistas and those views afterward.
I can't even imagine. I honestly, the one time we trained for the Disney Marathon a few years ago, when we were getting up to like 25-mile training runs, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
That's so amazing to me.
Aww.
Rhonda, thank you.
Aw, Rhonda, we love you. And look at Fun Size Jen. Shout out to the hosts of the Red Podcast. Aw. Yeah. I don't even know. It was, I mean, the mileage itself seemed incredibly daunting.
Mm-hmm. And then you add in terrain and weather, and
I can't imagine. I don't know about
what altitude.
Elevation. Yeah, altitude elevation. But Rob says that was a tough one from what I understand, Bryce Canyon. So there you go. Applause, 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 Greg.
Yes.
Your Runcation Nation celebrates your accomplishment.
Oh, absolutely.
And Andy,
50 miles is crazy.
We celebrate your 5K.
Absolutely.
And if there are any others that I missed, I apologize. This going back to work is for the birds.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. I think you should stop that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Just saying.
So, yeah. What it's our chief executive officer of hashtags.
Executive producer of
hashtags. Josh says
Greg almost
to Orlando.
And then Rhonda did her first 2 runs after a 4-week hiatus, started with 10 minutes and went up to 20. Nice.
How are you feeling, Rhonda? We hope you're feeling good.
How's the post race?
Yeah.
Post run
feeling? Yeah.
I can tell you we had a bit of a milestone with what I'm doing with that, the Couch to 5K program.
Oh, let's talk about that.
This past weekend was it was the week 5. So we just started week 6 today. In fact, that's the run that Rob was talking about that I just came from.
Looking all fresh.
Yes. But week 5, day 3 was the first time in this program where our total mileage equals or actually slightly exceeds a 5K.
Oh, the
total
long
distance.
The long run, the weekend run. Right? Yes.
Yeah. So that's a bit of a milestone for those that are doing it along with, or who might be doing it in playback. A lot of people are listening back and running along with us.
I love that.
I do too. I think it's great. If the idea is if I can get anybody to get off the couch and get moving, I don't care how fast you go. But, the whole idea of this was to introduce people to that run, walk, run method, take a very bite-sized running interval, which we're doing 5 seconds, and a 25-second walk.
Nice and approachable.
And what I've been doing on the long runs, as you know, I mean, we didn't run this Saturday together because you had work.
I had work, yeah.
So she got up ahead of me and knocked it out before I even got out of bed. But what
I
I'm
had
what
to.
I'm illustrating to people is that the purpose of the long run day is to get total time on your feet and total distance, not
Hmm.
speed.
Yeah.
So you can actually walk those distances and still get the benefit.
Yeah. I think the shorter runs are for conditioning and to maintain what you do on the long run day, on the weekend day, and the two shorter runs during the week that are 30 to 45 minutes are there to maintain and your conditioning.
Right.
And then also sometimes you can, like if you were going to do the faster 5K or the improve your time 5K, then you get into some drills to improve your speed or you get into some speed work.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm still debating if we should what's to do next. Am I going to do the faster 5K program to show people what that's
Oh,
like, or am I going to do the 10K program to increase the distance?
yeah.
Kind of want to get a feel from the Runcation Nation what they might like to see.
Yeah.
Let me
Hey,
know.
fun size Jennifer Hall. She says, shout out to runners. Am I screwing this up?
Rum
Rum
runners.
runners. God. Rum Runners Disney Running Social Club for just being awesome people and finishing your 10K Memorial Day race.
Very nice.
And I would like to say shout out to Fun Size Jen because she is going to her local running store and organizing midweek group runs.
Very
So
nice.
I think that's awesome. And oh, Katie, my day 3 couch to 5K. Awesome.
So cool.
Katie did that.
Katie,
She
you rock.
completed that. And Rhonda's feeling good after restarting her run after the hiatus.
I'll tell you what, coming back, like after you take a break, the first few runs after you come back, for me anyway, is like, oh, I feel like I've never run before in my life. It's just
It's
it's hard
rough.
getting back into it. So I try not to take too long of a
Yeah.
break if I don't have to, you know.
Yeah.
But it really stinks, especially if you're coming off of being maybe you're sick and you're down
Mhm.
for a week,
Or injured
or injured,
or
yeah,
post surgery or
or post surgery. That is true.
I
Been
don't
there,
know.
been
I
there.
don't know.
So it's been really cool doing that. Today's run was week 6, day 1. So we are
Mhm.
absolutely on the downslope of the program, heading into basically the two runs this week are going to be 20-minute runs,
Mhm.
and then the long run this week is going to be, I believe, 3.5 miles total distance. And this actually
Yeah.
was something I want to talk about. A lot of people aren't as familiar with Galloway's coaching method, but Jeff likes to talk about the wall, the runner's wall. And if
Yes.
you've been running for any length of time, you know what we're talking about. You're out there on a long run and you just get to a distance
Mhm.
and then you're sapped. It's like, and it's like hitting a wall, and that's
You have to
hence
get
the name.
past it. You have to break through it.
And sometimes you can, and sometimes you sometimes you splat on the wall. I mean, it does happen. But Jeff is a believer, and I think that our experience bears it out. He
Oh
says
yeah.
that your wall, the distance where you can anticipate hitting the wall, is the longest run you've done in the 3 weeks prior to your race day.
Yes. And we are big believers in this. It may not be the right thing for your program. Just disclaimer, you got to do what works for you and your running and your race prep and what you know works for you.
Oh yeah,
But we are
we're dyed in the wool Galloway runners, so
we have evidence from the past that shows making it beyond that distance, that half marathon distance or that 5K distance or that 10K distance has really helped us
yes.
to finish strong. And I can't I know next week is our anniversary episode and we're going to get into looking back at some of the greatest moments that we've had on the show and looking ahead to the future,
Mhm.
but I can just remember Jeff's race, in fact. being one of those times.
Absolutely.
One year, and I'll talk about that next week.
And that's a race that is 13.1 miles, but in training, I believe you got up to 16
Mm-hmm.
miles.
Yeah.
And so this coming weekend, it's a 3.5 mile run, or if you choose to walk the distance, you can walk it. But you end up pushing your wall out to where your wall distance is now beyond the finish line.
So you know
So
that you can finish strong, or that you can take challenges that you don't know will come up on race day, because you never know what the weather's going to be like if you haven't ever run in certain conditions or at certain elevations,
or running after traveling. We haven't talked about that a
yeah,
lot, but that might need to be an episode in and of itself.
sure.
But there's a certain different things happen when you are traveling, whether it's by air or road trip or whatever the case may be. And maybe it's sleeping in a strange bed that you don't your hotel room. It's change in
Mm-hmm.
time zones.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the sheer number of hours sitting on an airplane or in a car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that does stuff to you. And Danny agrees, as you can hear her
Mm-hmm.
right there.
She
She's
doesn't want
chiming
us.
in.
She doesn't want us to travel. She
She's
just wants us to be here.
absolutely.
So, but
And
it's
and
right. Or if you're not like Rachel at our local run shop, who brings all of her food, who meal preps in her hotel room.
and she
If
brings stuff to cook it in
Oh
too.
yeah.
Like
Oh yeah. If you're not like her and you have cuisine you're not used to, then that can, I mean, there's a whole, I think that could be in a whole
yeah,
episode,
that
travel.
we probably need to
Yeah.
do one specific to that now that travel is starting to
Mm-hmm.
return to normal, and
Yeah.
local regional races are coming back.
I think Josh makes a good point.
Yeah, Josh says, I think the increase in distance would be less intimidating than increasing speed. I think that's true, especially with the
It
Galloway
is.
method,
It is.
where you know that your long run can be a
Mm-hmm.
long walk. So there's no pressure there,
Mm-hmm.
except, maybe you want to try doing more interval work during that time. And that's totally
Sure.
cool if you want to, but you don't
Yeah.
have to. And that, I think, is what's key.
Yeah. I I can tell you the speed to increase, like you in your live runs over the last couple of weeks have talked about. It's the 16-minute per mile pace, staying under that for a run Disney event.
Yeah.
Or
I know that a lot of people, especially maybe you didn't come to it as a runner, but you are checking it out. You go, oh, 16 minutes a mile. That's not very fast. By all means, if you're faster, go faster.
go. Yeah.
What we're looking to do is establish that as the baseline for people who might want to do this method at a Run Disney event, and give them the opportunity to see that a small run interval can make a huge difference in their overall speed and keep them at the point of safety, so they don't have to worry about the balloon ladies at a Disney event.
Right.
So I that is the ultimate goal. Although I did talk about it today, I may just demonstrate for people on the Thursday run.
I heard you talking about a longer interval.
The same ratio,
Mm-hmm.
because we're currently doing 5 seconds running, 25 seconds walking. Well, I was
Right.
thinking about doing a 10-second run, 50-second walk, to show people it's the exact same amount of time running and walking in total, but it stretches out it makes the frequency with which you're accelerating and decelerating, longer
Mm-hmm.
in between
Yeah.
intervals. So some people might find that transition to be a little easier.
Mile 15 or 16, 18, 19, and 22.
I don't know. Am I missing something here?
Jennifer Hall. What
Jennifer
did we
Hall?
miss?
Yeah, hold on. What are you talking about there?
What did we miss?
She may be shouting out people at miles. I don't know.
I don't know.
Tell us what's going on.
Report back to us, Jennifer Hall. Fun size Jen.
Absolutely.
Let us know about those mile indicators.
And Rob Nadal says, I do that so much that's normal. Running in the same places would be harder for me. Yeah,
Oh.
traveling. Yeah,
Oh.
and Rob, you're a special case. Rob, for those that don't know, Rob Nadal is one of our patrons of the show, longtime listener,
Mm.
great friend of the podcast, and he is an over the road trucker, and he
Yeah.
is also the unofficial scenic photographer of the Running Drink podcast in our Runcation Nation Facebook group.
It's so
The
true.
pictures he shares from the different locations he's going is just they're just amazing. I mean, the stuff he
Beautiful.
shoots.
Beautiful.
And then Josh says
Increasing.
increasing speed comes with time, but distance will give people the distance milestones.
Yeah.
Exactly, Josh. That's bingo.
Big confidence builder.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. I think that, for that uninitiated person who might be running along with us or running on, playing the videos in playback or just listening while they're out doing their run, knowing that last Saturday they completed a 5K on their training run,
Yeah.
regardless of how fast they went, they got that distance. And I
Yeah.
think that's what's really cool. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. And yeah, Rob, you're exactly right. Rob's commenting says you're not talking about breaking 30 minutes for the 5K right away, just a few seconds per mile faster. That's exactly right. This is all about building and starting and
And
giving
over
people a place to
time.
start.
And that is so the we are recording this on June 1st.
We are.
And it is the first 6 months of the year have been really, really challenging for me in coming back from surgery
Yes.
and trying to get back to running. And I just feel it's it's harder to get back into that. And I think you're harder on yourself. Like, I used to be able to do this. I used to be able to do that. But I have to remember that the last time I was kind of sidelined by an injury, had surgery and healed, it was a multi-year process.
Well, you were injured and didn't even seek, proper medical attention for a year.
I know.
And that extended your
Don't
total
do
time.
what I did.
Remember, kids, when we say that we've made every mistake possible
Yep.
in the running journey that we're on,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
we've made every mistake possible.
We
So,
really
yeah.
have. Megan Brower and Susie Becker now in the chat.
Well, hello, ladies. Thank you for jumping in. We're glad you're here.
Welcome.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so we have made every mistake. And yeah, and Amy is,
Does that make sense?
it makes total sense. And I see it on a daily basis because I'm here with you. I see you wanting to do more faster
Yeah.
and consciously slowing yourself, backing off and not rushing to get back and taking your time. And I know it's frustrating because you want to be at this level, but you're
Mm-hmm.
at this level.
Yes.
and it's but the progress has been phenomenal. And that's what's important.
But I think you're your own worst critic. Well, at least I'm my own worst critic, and I feel like I should be further along, but you're gonna get there. And I love Rob's philosophy of it's you have to feel good. You have to feel running is meant to make you feel good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like it's a stress reliever. It is meant to help you achieve goals, meant to it, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense. Guys, chime in. Does that make sense to you, what she's saying? Because I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And if you are too hard on yourself, then it can become too stressful and too much of a burden. It's really supposed to be stress relief, celebration, doing something for you or doing something to be social with a group or a team or a run club like like Fun Size Jen does, like Dan Rams and the Cape Coral Running Group does.
Speaking of, Dan's in the chat. Hello, Dan.
Yeah. So that's just my 2 cents about wanting to get faster. I think that comes incrementally over time.
It does. And it's interesting that you say that because Megan chimed in and said in the chat, comparison is the
The
theft
thief.
of joy.
Is that
And
not Theodore Roosevelt? Did he say that?
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
We
that's a great quote.
we know Meg said it.
That's yes.
And what I think is important to remember is that can also be comparing yourself to yourself.
To a former version of yourself
Right.
or a future version of yourself you wish you were already.
Exactly.
So I think that's beautiful. And Meg, mwah,
And
perfect.
Andy just jumped in the chat as
Yay!
well.
Oh, we were shouting you out about your 5K, but I couldn't remember the charity that you ran it for this past week or weekend. So hello. Hello. We have just got so many great people here in the chat coming right along with us.
Yeah, we really do. And Susie says coming back from an injury sucks both mentally and physically. It really does. It makes the journey twice as hard because you're fighting against your body and your brain.
It's a mental game. I mean, like, really, here on our set, we have Jeff's book, which is Mental Training for Runners. And I know I put a poll out there for the patrons about a Thursday night kind of book chat that I'm thinking about starting and preparing. And I think that that would be a great book to use because I think in life and in running, the mental training is so beneficial. That and also Meb's book 26 marathons, the those lessons and the way that you mentally train to complete races, those they're just such rich discussion points and discussion pieces in those books.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And everybody is agreeing. I think everybody has this kind of internal monologue to some degree or another. I think it's a human nature thing.
Yeah.
And you try to fight against it. And I think those that master it find themselves able to bounce back faster, feel better about
Mhm.
the journey that it's taking to bounce back. So,
Mhm.
you know,
And I think if you put in the work and you can stop yourself from those negative comparisons, those negative thoughts, and you can refocus and redirect, then over time, that's such a big payoff, both in meeting any kind of fitness goal, completing a race, or in life. When at work, in your family, and your whatever challenges that life brings you.
yeah. And
That
and I think that in the last year and a half, especially, some people have been really struggling, whether it's, family pressures, job pressures,
especially over the last couple of
recovery.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. Like last 18 months ish,
Yeah.
around that time. Um, so, working on and focusing on mental toughness and mental resiliency
Mhm.
is something that, you know, sometimes you just do as a matter of, maybe you've got good habits and you do. And like anything, I think that it's a, a perishable skill. I think you have to train it. I think you have to exercise mental resiliency and mental toughness
Yes.
and practice it. And, otherwise it ends up, you have ebb and flow,
Mhm.
especially, as you encounter different stressors in your
Yeah.
life.
And if I'm going to be completely vulnerable and completely upfront with, I mean, these are all longtime listeners of our show, the Runcation Nation, patrons of our show that I feel like I can be a little bit vulnerable and say I think that that perishable skill is one that let I have let it atrophy.
Atrophy.
Mhm.
Good word.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I have let it diminish over um in recent months.
Yeah. 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 And I think a lot of that has to do with, what's going on in the world and the way,
Oh, I think that that impacts
oh,
whatever you're
how could it
tenfold.
how could it not?
Yeah.
So that is going to lead us into, I mean, that's the, we kind of talked the running a little bit,
Yeah.
but that kind of leads into us into why we're going a little off of our normal format
And
tonight.
before we go there, just I think that Andy Davison, she said it was Oldsmar Cares
Oldsmar Cares.
was her 5K. So
Yes. And she actually chimed in like a little bit with me in the morning on before she went out to do her run.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
On Saturday.
On Saturday.
Yeah, that was great. So yes, that gives us a nice pivot point in talking about that mental toughness.
Yeah, so
as a skill.
So realizing that, Amy was listening to she listens to a very interesting variety of podcasts across you. She listens to stuff.
You
I'm
listen to
like,
a bunch of
and
podcasts.
we both do. I probably at any given time have 50 podcasts in my podcatcher, and I'm constantly going through them on top of doing like, I have an app that I use called Blinkist, which gives you basically the Cliff's Notes for a ton of not self-help, but like leadership books and business books, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm on spoken word non-stop. But Amy sends me a podcast the other day to listen to.
An early episode, because this podcast is still going, and
yeah,
this was not a recent episode.
No, it wasn't. And what was the podcast called?
Ooh, hang on.
She's got to pull that up.
Wait.
So she sends me this and she says, "Hey, will you check this out?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely."
I sent it to you a couple of times.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
So I finally did. I had some time because I was flying solo. In fact, I listened to it on Saturday.
Yeah, that was
after running the 5K, the 5K training run is what I actually. I sat down afterwards and did it.
Real AF with Andy Frisella.
Yes. And I listened to this guy, and it's probably 30 minutes. It's not a long episode.
No.
It really kind of gets right down to the.
It's a 49-minute episode. It's tagged explicit because,
there might be one or two choice words in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I sat and I listened to it, and this is not typically the type of podcast that I would gravitate towards. I don't tend to listen to entrepreneurial podcasters. That just tends not to be what I go for. I go for science, technology. Yeah, I tend to go more for that. But he's an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, podcaster, and now author. And he put this thing out, I want to say a year or so ago, maybe a little more.
When was that? It's episode number 14, and I can link to it in the show notes.
Yeah.
And it's 49 minutes, and I want to say it was somewhere around February
of last year.
Yeah.
And what his whole approach is basically
March. Sorry.
That's okay.
2020.
So his whole approach is he's trying to create a program for mental toughness and resiliency. And it's not really about weight loss per se, although it's going to kind of factor in as we kind of lay it out for you as far as what this is. But if we noticed it, or Amy noticed it, she started seeing a hashtag pop up all over on Instagram. And the hashtag is 75 hard. And if you haven't heard of this or seen it, I'd be shocked, because it's kind of like, now that I got a Jeep, I see Jeeps everywhere. Well, now that I've heard of 75 hard, I'm seeing the hashtags everywhere.
And it's not, it's that, it's not just now. It has become popular over time.
Right. Actually, it seems to have, it started to have a slow burn over the last year, and it's picked up a lot.
Yeah.
Is what we're starting to see.
Yeah.
And what this is a 75-day program to encourage you to flex that muscle and build that muscle of mental resiliency and mental toughness. And they do it, or he does it, by laying out some very simple rules for the plan, and there's not much to it. It really is kind of surprising to me.
But his attitude is also very much like um, Pendulette.
And that is why. So Amy sends me this, and I listen to the podcast, and I'm like, immediately, I'm in. I'm done. That's it. And it triggered in me something that was very similar to what I experienced when I was
Did it?
when after I
You
went to the
didn't talk to me
hospital a
about
couple of
that. You
years
did
ago.
not.
I saved it for the podcast.
Yeah. So now,
So
so every time we record, I learn
she learned
something new.
something. So
You the more you know.
the whole idea, well, for when I listened to Penn Jillette talk about when he was, you know, trying to lose his 100 pounds, and I was looking for something after I went to the hospital with hypertension a couple of years ago. I wanted to get something and do something radically different, and something that would be, you know, fun and interesting and challenging and rewarding. I wanted all those things. And that's what led us to the whole food, plant-based diet,
Yeah.
eating lifestyle that we're on now.
Yeah.
Well, admittedly, I mean, COVID impacts everybody, and you know, with the pandemic, and
Yeah.
then work stress, and you know, loss of loved ones in the family, it has
Yeah.
admittedly not been an awesome, you know, year.
The inability to see loved ones,
Right.
the inability to train for races and travel for the show.
Oh, 100%.
Not not just all of that.
The things that we look forward to the most doing the show are being able to talk with you guys and go and bring you these new locations and these places and things
Yeah.
to do. And we haven't been able to do that like we want. I mean, it's been great doing the virtuals, and that's been fantastic. But you know, there
It's
just
kept
comes
us going.
it's kept us going.
Yeah.
But there comes a point where you're like, I want to get back to normal. I want to get back to doing these things. So that impacts, you know, your outlook, and we've decided that we were going to step up to the plate and do this 75 hard challenge to kind of, like I said at the opening, a little bit of a course correction, not really a reset. I don't think reset's exactly right, but maybe a recalibration of our
Like a recommitment.
yeah,
Is that, oh God, is that even a word?
it is now. It is now.
Recommitting.
So
Committing again.
and I love what Josh says right here in the chat. A hurdle is only as high as your mind allows it to be, and I think that's exactly, yeah, that feeds right into what Andy Frisella is talking about with the 75 hard challenge. So what is it? What is it that we are going to be doing?
I don't know if anybody else has heard of it, but
Yeah, and if you haven't, we're gonna lay it out for you right
yeah,
here, because we started today.
we did. Oh
We
Lord.
started today. So let's see. The 75 hard challenge consists of,
Yes. I have the list.
I was going to say, don't you have it on your big
Here.
screen right there?
Here,
No, you
here,
don't.
here it is.
Okay.
Here it is.
So
Yes.
the list, it's very simple. You have to do not one, but two 45-minute workouts per day.
Yes.
And one of those workouts has to be outside.
And they can't be consecutive.
Right. You have to have at least 3 hours in between them. So basically a morning workout and an evening workout,
Yeah.
ideally.
Or morning and I guess afternoon or
Right.
something.
So
Yeah.
2 workouts a day, 45 minutes each,
Yeah.
one of which is outside.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be a hard run, like I'm running the entire 45 minutes. You can get out and you can walk.
Oh, absolutely.
You can ride
Anything.
a bike. A lot of people will go on family walks.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
he even talked about this in I don't know if it was the podcast you sent me. I listened to like 6 or 7 more of his podcasts.
Did you really?
I did. I really liked him. He has a very no nonsense, no
Mhm.
BS approach.
I knew
to
you
things.
would like that.
And he talked about the fact that he was over 300 pounds. He's pushing 350, I believe, is what he got up to. And he is an owner of a distribution company for sports supplements. And he said, I could no longer be the face of the company.
Mm.
So he's talking from a place of experience.
Okay.
So I liked that. So, okay, that's the
You've
first
gotten
thing.
further than I have. in listening to consecutive
Probably.
episodes. Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
Then the second part of this is that you take a progress photo every day.
Yeah.
Just take a selfie, take a progress photo. Um, Whatever however you want to do it, but do a photo every day. That gives you something you can look back on over a period of time.
Yeah.
Over a period of time.
Yeah. I
And
don't think I mean, could you put like a time lapse together
that's what I want to do.
at the end? Yes. I don't think I'm going to put that in the face of everybody, but it would be good for my own to see my own progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the selfie, the
Mm-hmm.
progress picture, whatever you want to call it, the 2 workouts that are non-consecutive that are 45 minutes, one of which being outdoors.
Yes. And of course, with all of that working out, you have to stay hydrated.
So a gallon of water a day.
You have to
gallon of water every day.
You have to drink a gallon of water a day, and your coffee doesn't count.
No.
It's a gallon of water a day. Now, for most, if you are a water drinker, that's not a big deal.
No.
You can, a cup here, a cup there, one at each, 16 ounces at each meal and a couple in the middle, and boom, you're there.
Yeah.
But making sure that you stay consistent is the key. And this is this program's, this is the linchpin of this program, which is you have to do everything on this list every single day.
We haven't gotten through the list yet, though.
No, and we haven't got through the list yet, but there's actually not much more.
Yeah.
The next is that you have to follow a diet, and it doesn't matter what diet you're doing. Just follow a diet.
Just something that would be good for you.
Yes. And of course, his caveats all over his website and everything are see your doctor.
Of course. Everything. And we're saying that too.
Absolutely.
We're not saying.
We're just telling you what we're doing. We're not telling you to do it.
We're sharing it with you, and it's kind of an accountability thing.
That's absolutely what this is. We're putting it out there on Front Street for you guys to help hold us accountable and to follow along with our craziness. So we've talked about drinking the gallon of water.
Mm-hmm. You have following a diet.
You have to follow a diet.
Yeah, that's where we are.
No cheat meals.
No.
Or alcohol.
Cheat meals or alcohol.
So.
Yes, Meg, I am a little intimidated. 75 days, right?
Yeah, 75 days.
Yeah, I'm a little intimidated. Currently struggling to do one hard thing a day. Yeah, I'm same.
Well, fortunately,
I don't know.
I looked at this. I didn't look at the things that he's asking to do as being all that hard that per se. The hard part is the discipline to do them every day without fail. That's the hard part.
Yes. You have to be committed to getting each item done, to get each thing achieved. And the no cheat meals and no alcohol.
Right. Now, normally
we explore and indulge.
Yeah. Normally we do, you always hear us talk about day 7. Day 7 for us is, a built-in cheat day and a day that we often cover stuff for the show. Mm-hmm. So what's that going to mean for the show?
Right.
Well, partly it means that we fortunately have a bunch of stuff in the can already. So we already have some locations for food and beverage.
We do.
Pre-recorded.
We do.
Photographed.
Yeah.
And reviewed. So we're going to be covering that. Mm-hmm. But we only have some stuff. And truth be told, I mean, we can only eat so much in a day when we go travel someplace. So we are going to be doing some more of our cooking and our recipes to put some healthful alternatives in your respective quivers.
Which was one of our goals at the beginning of the year.
Yes. So it's keeping in line with what we've been doing.
Yeah.
And just doing more.
We just do more of it.
And that means that we're going to be doing some stuff from the Runny Drink Podcast test kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we're successful.
Uh-huh. So
And yeah, that's the entirety of the list right there. That is the, I mean,
the
again,
progress
it's
photos are like each
Josh
step away.
says,
Yeah, each step away from where you were.
say that again.
Yeah, he says the progress photos are like each step away from where you were.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's for a lot of people, that's the hard part. But there is the caveat, like the rule that he imposes on the 75 hard.
Which is
If you fail in any aspect along this, so say you don't work out a full 45 minutes, you forget to drink an entire gallon of water, you don't take your daily
photo.
selfie.
Oh, we didn't say reading the book.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. We missed that one.
We missed this.
Um,
Oh God.
and actually, that's part of the thing that we were looking forward to the most. But
Yeah.
um, the caveat is if you miss any one aspect of this, you start over from day one.
So let's recap.
Okay, because we did skip a step.
We did.
We didn't skip it today. We skipped it in recounting it to you
Recounting
right
it to
now.
you. So it's the 2 workouts, 45 minutes each, one being outside.
Yes.
And not consecutive. We have taking a progress picture, reading 10 pages of a nonfiction book.
Yes. And this is to encourage you to read something to better yourself. And that could be anything, but it's nonfiction. Don't pick up a Danielle Steele Beach read. Don't pick up.
Do that too, but
that doesn't count for this purpose.
For the challenge, we have nonfiction.
Yes.
Book. 10
Work
pages.
on yourself.
10 pages. Right?
Yeah, and that is the key.
Yeah. So drinking a gallon of water a day, following a diet that's good for you, no cheat meals or alcohol. Now we have the whole list.
Yes. So we started our day today at when we normally are up with the dogs, 4 a.m. And we just stayed up and got workouts in, reading in,
because
started
typically
drinking water.
I'll walk with them and then come back in and we will snuggle back in bed for a while.
Yes.
So, which is so tempting with them. They're so snuggly.
I know.
But and I think it's not a diet. It's not it's this it's testing your mental fortitude and your toughness, your grit. But it's a lot of people, and we've talked about this, you could feel overwhelmed by a lot of changes.
Yes.
And the greater philosophy is a lot of the time people will talk about, we'll just make incremental changes. These are big changes.
This is why I liked it so much, because this reminded me of
all at once
of Pendulette's thing. Well, it is and it isn't. We probably drink about a gallon of water a day normally.
I am.
I'll say I'm a water drinker at work.
But your job could lend itself more so.
Oh yeah, true.
Than because if you're a teacher and you're up there teaching, then you may be forgetting to hydrate.
Yes.
Because you're so into the lesson, or you maybe your job doesn't suit itself to that, and mine does not.
Well, right. But let me rephrase that. Over the last few months when you've been recouping at home, you've been more of a water drinker.
I've had the chance to do it, but I think that there are some jobs that are more challenging in order to meet that goal.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. But so I looked at it like that. Like I was like, that's not really the big one for me. The 2 a day workouts is a little bit different, and
Yeah.
juggling that's going to be interesting. Like I can tell you now, when we're done recording here, Amy's heading to the
Yep.
yoga mat to get
Yeah.
her second workout into the day. I
Yeah.
got mine in because I did my run this afternoon with everybody in the Runcation Nation, and I actually ran a little bit before that to get my total of 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
So that's how I fit that in today. And then this morning I took the dogs out on a run. So I've done my
Yeah.
2 days. Now, the other beauty of that was the dogs were zonked all day long. It was great. I didn't have to worry about them doing anything in the
Well,
house.
it's a bonus.
It's a bonus. So
It's a
I think I
bonus.
may now know my morning workout routine is going to be to tire the dogs out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but this gives us an opportunity to focus on to prioritize these things. Number one, which means
It's
prioritizing yourself.
prioritizing yourself. It's going to be challenging because we will encounter situations where it will be extremely challenging to say no to something that will ultimately mean failure, like social eating and celebration on special occasions.
Right. And then we actually talked about this. We have a couple of things coming up
We do.
that are going to necessitate us traveling. Um, we've talked about doing the
I
Disney
love how
virtual
they're I love
series.
how they're so excited in the chat about the reading.
Yes.
Rob with his 10 books on the truck at any given time, and
Well, Megan said we can't
Meg,
forget books.
yeah,
Books are
books are
life.
life.
Yeah,
You know, she's a teacher to the core. So
absolutely.
I love that.
But yeah, we're going to be traveling to Disney
For the Run Disney virtual
Run Disney
races.
virtual races.
Yeah.
Now, our diet that we're adhering to is, of course, our plant-based
Yes,
diet.
that is what we picked. And I figured that that would be a thing that all of our longtime listeners would know. But if you are finding us for the first time just now, we do follow plant-based, whole foods eating regimen.
Yeah. Yeah. Whole food, plant-based,
Yeah.
you know, um, the caveat to that is we do allow ourselves a little bit of the like texture vegetable protein and like gardein crumbles, those types of
Mhm.
things to vary it up a little bit, but we stay
Yeah.
plant-based.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what we're going to be doing for the duration of this. So
Yeah.
we started today. We are on track. Amy's got to drink a little. She's drank most of her water. She's got
I'm
like 1 cup left for the day,
yeah.
and then she's got to do her second workout for
And
the
then
day,
I'm
and then
good.
she's done.
And I'm good.
And then
You're already done.
I'm done for the day,
Good for
and
you.
then we're gonna start all over again
Tomorrow.
first thing in the morning
Yes.
at 4 a.m. But
Yeah. I think it is going to be challenging when we travel.
it is. And I'm actually looking forward to that challenge. Now, this is going to give us a chance to do some things that we've talked about wanting to do, which is
Right.
when we go do the June Disney virtual race up at Disney,
Mhm.
we're going to be eating vegan at Disney.
Yeah.
And we're going to be showing people where they can find vegan options there. So that's going to give, you know,
I mean, if people follow Greg and Orlando already, then they have a great resource there.
well,
So
he's helping us out too.
yeah.
He gave us some suggestions. So
Uh-huh.
it's going to give us a chance to feature some stuff that we may not otherwise have featured.
True.
So that'll be for the June and for the July.
Mhm.
And then in August, our date of completion, assuming success,
Assuming success.
and
Positive.
we are assuming success.
Positivity.
Our date of completion will
Right?
be August 15th.
Yeah.
So for the next 11 weeks, we are hoping that you guys will come along with us on this journey as we are doing the 75 hard challenge.
Well, and come along with us. It's like, you may not opt to do it.
No. Let me be clear. Come along as in listen to the show as we describe
Listen to the
what we're doing.
journey.
Not that we're not saying do it. I mean, if you want to, by all means, but
See what happens.
yeah, see what happens with it.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I think, a lot of fun.
It's going to be challenging at times. It's going to be, it's, I don't even know what all the challenges are that will come up.
No, I don't either.
I can think of some right off, but I think we will encounter ones that we did not expect as well.
Well, I think that the
And
days I want some chicken wings are going to be
oh
especially hard.
gosh. Oh
Days
yes.
that end in Y.
Days that end in Y. I just I think that there are all sorts of challenges that we can talk about as a part of achieving this
I think so.
program.
And in the meantime, I am scouring our books and the internet for some amazing recipes for people to cook healthfully and
Yeah.
flavorfully, and just happens to be meat free. But we're always going to give you options for how to introduce proteins
Sure.
to those recipes,
We
so that
always
you
do.
can, yeah, so that you can, if maybe you're not feeling like meatless Monday, but the recipe we suggest to you sounds good,
Mhm.
we're going to give you some options for that as well.
Yeah.
So, so
So,
that's what's coming up, guys. It's kind of a vague
yeah.
roadmap for the future of what is of what is coming in the next few weeks on the show. We hope that you guys are going to stay tuned
Mm.
and
And we'll link to
help us.
his website and the podcast episode if you want to check out what we're doing.
Now, that does not mean that we're not doing our live chat still. We absolutely are. Beverage. The only
Yeah.
thing that changes is the beverage. Josh, some of those amazing beers that you brought us are just going to be put on hiatus for a little bit. We're going to be bringing
We
those out
we have
at
to
the end.
we have to have them in August.
Okay.
Well,
There we go.
isn't that right?
Yes.
I mean, you know,
August 17th, I think, will
we
be the date.
we have to have his on.
And Katie says she's got some plant-based recipes she can send us as well.
Yes.
Send them, Katie. We're always looking. Always looking.
Love it.
So we're very, very excited. So yeah, follow along with us. If all goes well, at 75 days, we'll be done. Otherwise, it'll be more than 75 days. But we're going to finish it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What
have we done? What have we done?
Yeah, I'm really nervous about it. You're excited about it, and you're really.
I think you're confusing nerves for excitement. That's what I tell her when she's nervous.
I think it goes back to what I said originally. Oh, I can send book lists. See, this is like a whole team effort, and I'm feeling supported by the Runcation
Please
Nation
do
as well.
Yeah, we did. Okay, this takes us back. So yesterday, we took a field trip to our local Barnes and Noble.
Because I don't think we talked about the fact that he says you want to read a physical book rather than.
Yeah, no, that's not actually part of the rules per se, but he really recommends get an actual physical book. The satisfaction of seeing your bookmark move or
is supposed to be very good
reinforcement
mentally.
Yeah.
For mental acuity and toughness. And
so we did a field trip to a Barnes and Noble, and kids, for those of you that don't know, there used to be these places called bookstores,
like Books a Million and Barnes and Noble, and I'm like, you could go to the library and you could check out books or what, But we were like, how long has it been since we set foot in a bookstore?
That used to be a date night thing for us. We would go and hang out at Barnes and Noble and get coffee at Starbucks there, and then walk around and browse books and magazines and all for an hour or so or more, usually more. And it was just kind of nice to kind of go back to doing that.
It was cool.
And I was also very pleasantly surprised to see how many people were there buying books. That was great.
Yeah. And because we have become, I love to read. I still love to read on my iPad.
Oh, I
love that.
When it comes to highlighting passages for note-taking, ebooks on a mobile device are phenomenal.
I love it.
But the joy of the tactile experience of a book.
Yes.
I don't think it's the same.
I love books. As a former English language arts teacher, I think I'll always be one.
Oh, yeah.
And hard.
You're a bibliophile.
I love highlighting passages. You're very good. Yes, your vocabulary. It's up here. It's up here. I'm trying to get there. So I love highlighting passages. I love using sticky notes, writing in margins. I love the feel of just coming back to a book that is so well read or well used, or whatever you want.
I have the hardest time throwing out or getting rid of a book. And I mean, I have books from back in college still, of course. And I have some even older than that I kept from my dad's library that we have.
I
But
kept all mine
I
from my college days. Oh,
I paid so much for those books. Heck yeah.
yeah.
And now that Megan's going to send us a reading list, Rob and Susie want to know the list. So
Ooh, Megan, you send us the
you're in
list
demand
and
now.
yeah, and we'll share it.
Oh, that'd be great. Yes.
Dana, you got a grade from Meg.
I got a grade.
You got a grade. Keep reading the
Oh,
comments.
hold
You're
on.
gonna love it.
Half Price Books is a great destination. Okay, we used to
Ooh.
have a great used bookstore in Tampa that I would go to all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, uh, we used to have one here in Cape Coral, but I think it's closed.
Yeah. I think a lot of them have
They've gone
struggled.
Yeah, it's hard to compete with online sellers.
Yeah. But
Oh, I got the A+
see?
for bibliophile. Yay.
Bibliophile. Yes. See, you use all the right words.
Well, Grammarly seems to think I have a pretty good vocabulary. I get my weekly. I use Grammarly for work emails and I get a weekly report that says you're more productive than X number of our users and
Whoa.
bigger. You know, it compares you to everybody that uses it. I'm like, yay! So that's kind of gamifies your writing.
You're very eloquent and well spoken.
Oh, I don't know about
You're
all
very
that.
eloquent and well spoken, and
Let's not get
I
carried
hope
away.
that I can live up to the soulmate in my life.
Oh, stop with
Yeah.
the living up to nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm the lucky one, but we're going to be lucky.
So yeah, share the book list and we'll
to
put
get
it all
that
out
book
there.
list.
Yes.
We're going to be celebrating in 74 short days.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we're going to be filling your ears and eyes with photos of delicious food from some places that we've gone we've pre-recorded, and as well as some amazing recipes we find for you.
Yeah, and still we have
and we're going to be focusing on some delicious and tempting non-alcoholic cocktails and beverages.
Tempting non-alcoholic cocktails, mocktails.
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 Thank you.
Right? It's right.
So we've got some stuff coming up. You guys are going to like it. So we're very excited. Thank you guys.
Well, thank you all for the support and the encouragement and being here in the chat for us while we laid out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
You know, we want to support you in all your goals and celebrate you and your
message us with what you're doing. I know Katie mentioned that she's doing diet. She started her walking. So Katie, keep those messages coming about that stuff. We will shout you out, all of you, for your races that you're doing.
Yes.
I've been seeing some people in the Facebook group showing off what their planned race calendar is, which, by the way, next week on the show, we are going to give you some definitive answers as to travel races that we are doing. Of course, the caveat is as long as they go off, as long as they are live. Yeah.
As long as they are live and in person.
As long as they don't cancel on us.
Right.
So we've got some stuff that we've settled on. So we cannot wait to share that with you as well.
And it's a very special episode next week.
It is.
It is. And we are thinking of moving the live evening chat to the actual anniversary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that we record the anniversary episode live on Tuesday, and then we have our live celebration and chat on Thursday.
Right.
So I don't know if we're going to do that, but these are things we're kicking around for.
I thought that we'd settle on that.
I think that's right.
Okay. So you guys will know in the social media feeds before that, but we'll have a little modification for next week because of the anniversary.
Yeah. So we'll be recording live. Tentatively, we'll be recording live on Tuesday and Thursday next week.
Yes. So do us a favor. Our friends at Pure Creative Apparel have been hard at work creating some new stuff. And I got a sneak peek today at something that's coming.
There's more to come. I hope that we can get that up for maybe the anniversary week.
Yeah, I saw some of the preliminary artwork and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." So, I'm very excited about that, but we do have new stuff up there. We
Yeah.
have tank tops. We
Mhm.
have the one that I'm waiting for it to get here in that desert tan slash flat dark earth with the logo in black. It's gonna be perfect
Nice.
for a day at the
Looks
gun
very
range.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll look super sharp. And oh, look who is joining us here.
Oh,
Hello,
hello, governor.
Jen.
I didn't do it right.
Running through Wonderland, Jen.
Yay.
So we've got just the whole crew in here.
Yay.
So
75 days to life. Let's just.
What have we done?
I don't know what we've done. I feel like I say, you say, I feel like I'm feeling nerves. You say I'm feeling excitement. We'll see what happens.
Little column A, little column B. Why not?
Hey, I think we're doing pretty well.
We are
This
doing
evening.
really well
Yes.
this evening.
And
So
we're working on other options. Like JoJo has sent us suggestions for what she would like in terms of apparel with our logo, and the types of shirts that work well in running life.
yes.
So I've been working with Pam and working with Ariel at Pure Creative Apparel, and
So,
their shop. We link to it on runeatdrink.net.
well, they run our shop for us.
They run our shop for us. On runeatdrink.net, we have a page to support the show, and you can get there that way. Or you can go to purecreativeapparel.com and click shop now. And I think all of our stuff is front and center on that shopping page.
I like that.
Yeah.
So
stay tuned, and there are more options. We're really working on that.
yeah, we wanted to freshen everything up, give you guys some new options that will make you 17 to 22% more attractive. Although we do have the most attractive audience in podcasting. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yes.
I mean, I see the photos in Instagram, and Danny agrees. You can hear her barking. So
yeah.
I mean, there you go.
So
can't argue with that.
Yes. So we're continually working on that, the new merch, and taking suggestions and trying to get those to appear in the store that they've run for us. So purecreativeapparel.com or runeatdrink.net and click on support the show, because you can find how to get the merch, how to support us through Patreon, or just all of our shows are at runeatdrink.net.
Yes, they are.
I mean,
going all the way back to episode 1. So it's all still there for now. And anyway, until I decide that we've got to convert everything to get onto Spotify.
I know Spotify is popular. They want us to
a certain format,
audio only. So we're working on it. I mean, it's 4 years worth of content.
Seamlessly, the last few episodes have been re-encoded as MP3s instead of AAC
We're
files.
Getting into the technical aspect of what
I'm doing it on the back end. I'm trying to make it so it's as painless as possible for everybody. So anyway, go check it out.
Working on it. Yeah.
Thank you guys for participating in this live episode of the Run Eat Drink podcast. We haven't done this in a while.
I know. I love it. And I'm so happy we're going to be doing it for the anniversary. And I know that the format was, I mean, we talked about running, eating, and drinking. It was just a little bit different.
It was modified.
It was a little modified. So we hope you enjoy it, or enjoyed it tonight, or listening it back if you're listening back. We'll run for you guys. We listened to your anniversary episode. It was great. Aww.
That's Tom Stover from the Will Run For podcast. Just jumped in as we're about to jump out.
Yeah.
Hey, check them out. Will Run For podcast.
Happy first anniversary to your podcast. And you all are all our spirit animals. There were so many things that I laughed out loud, and I was just, I can completely relate to many things you said. So well done.
Indeed.
Yes. So thank you all for joining us whenever and wherever you could tonight. And on your long run, your commute to work, around the house, here live with us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
We did it live.
We did it live. And you may be listening back on your favorite podcast app, but thank you no matter where or how you're listening and watching. We love you all and appreciate the support of the Runcation Nation more than you know. I'm your host, Amy.
And I'm your co-host, Dana.
Stay safe, stay well, and we will accomplish, explore, and indulge with you really soon. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We're having another great year thanks to your support. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're at Run, Eat, Drink Podcast. And on Twitter, we're Run, Eat, Drink Pod. You can also give us a call at 941-677-2733 or send us an email at info@runeatdrink.net. Visit our website at runeatdrink.net and click on the subscribe link so you don't miss a minute. Find out how you can support the show at patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast. Accomplish, explore, and indulge right along with us. We'll talk to you next time.